They laughed, some out loud, some behind closed doors, and some just with their eyes, pitying, doubting, amused. Why would you open a bookstore here? This town doesn't even read. Try something realistic, like a vape shop. That last one stung more than it should have. But the truth is, I didn't come here to prove anyone wrong. I came because I had nowhere else to go. After losing my job in a corporate downsizing, my fiancée called off the wedding, citing that she couldn't build a future on broken dreams. I'd spent a decade chasing stability, and all I had left was a savings account that wouldn't last more than 6 months and a U-Haul full of books I refused to sell. So, when I found a crumbling property listing in a half-forgotten town where property cost less than a city parking space, I bought it without a second thought. Or maybe because I didn't want to think anymore. The town was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that comes after the last bell rings and everyone stops showing up. Old factories stood like rusted skeletons on the outskirts. The main street was a row of closed signs and fading paint. But I saw something others didn't. Possibility. I rolled up my sleeves and started fixing what I could. The floors creaked like old bones. The walls peeled like sunburnt skin. But there was charm and hope and a sense that maybe, just maybe, if I stayed long enough, something would grow here again. The first day I opened, only one person walked in. An elderly woman named Dolores. She didn't buy anything. But she told me she hadn't seen anyone try something this stupid and beautiful in decades. She became my first regular. I started offering free tea with every visit. I set up a pay-what-you-can shelf for secondhand books. I put a tiny chalkboard outside with quotes that changed daily. Some days, I'd watch people pause, read the quote, and smile. That alone kept me going. Months passed. Some weeks, I didn't make enough to pay the heating. I wore gloves indoors. I lit candles, not for ambiance, but warmth. But I kept showing up. Then, one stormy evening, a teenage boy rushed in. He was soaked, breathless, clearly hiding from someone. I gave him a towel and a cup of tea. He didn't say much, but he returned the next day, and the next. Turned out he was being bullied and skipped school most days. But in the bookstore, he found peace. Eventually, I gave him a part-time job. 2 years later, he got into college to study literature. He says I changed his life, but really, he saved mine too. Soon, others came. A war veteran who found healing in writing poetry. A single mom who started a journaling group. A retired teacher who offered to host children's reading hours. The store stopped being mine alone. It became ours. People didn't just come for books anymore, they came for each other. At some point, I realized we were sitting on untapped potential. There were so many stories being written in our little town, raw, powerful, unheard. So I taught myself how to publish. Badly at first, but I learned. I studied formatting, cover design, ISBNs, metadata. I uploaded our first chapbook on a cold Tuesday night with shaking hands. It sold 3 copies the first month. But the second, 50, then 200, we started Corner Light Press, named after the streetlight that flickered above my store entrance every night. Soon, small-time authors began emailing me from other forgotten towns. Will you help me publish? I never said no. 5 years later, we're an independent publishing house representing 70 authors across 4 continents. We still run the bookstore, still serve tea, still change the quote on the chalkboard every morning. And sometimes I think back to those early days, the smirks, the doubt, the loneliness that tried to drown me. They were wrong. You don't need skyscrapers or investors to build an empire. Sometimes all it takes is one book, one step forward, and the refusal to give up on what the world gave up on.